Okay, this is a tutorial that is going to help you complete tasks 1 and tasks 2 of the Coastal project. And every assignment will ask you to complete 1 or 2 tasks, and you should always start by listening and watching the video tutorial that goes with that assignment. As I go through today's tutorial, I will ask you to pause the video at various points and then complete the tasks. And then only at that point, when you've completed that part of a task, can you come back and watch the next part of the video. Okay, so this is your first geography project as an S1 student at Morrisons Academy. And over the years in the future, you will complete a project most years because that is what geography is about. It's a field-based subject which involves students going out of the school to gather information, to study the world in which they live, and bring that information back to school and look at the information they've gathered, what we often call data, and make some decisions and conclusions about the information they have gathered. And you can see that outline here in the first paragraph is what is a geography investigation. Why do we do investigations in geography? Well, no doubt your teacher will have explored this idea briefly with you, but as adults in the real world do, just the same as we do in school, a lot of learning is about finding out information for yourself and not relying on just reading books. That actually, to get information, we often have to go beyond the classroom and gather it from the wider world. And that's an important step that many adults are involved in their own professions. And therefore, you are going to be developing this skill over the next few years. And this is your first chance to do so. So let's get started on the project. What's important before we actually look at the task? Well, first of all, your teacher will have issued you with a jotter, and all of your work will go into that jotter, whether it is written directly in or whether you print it off and stick it in. The second thing is that each task has a number of bullet points. You should pay close attention to the instructions on each bullet point and make sure you've completed them to the best of your ability, because that is what is going to guarantee you a high mark. Any work that you complete online should be printed off. And these instructions here tell you how to print anything off online using the Geography Department printer, which is called L41. And this little instruction shows you how you should go about doing that. One thing to bear in mind, if you are printing work off on the school computer, it will come out in black and white. There is no way to get it in color. If you really feel it has to be done in color, then you should speak to your teacher, who can probably have you share it with them and they can print it off themselves. And they should therefore be able to do that in color. Okay, so that's the 3 kind of key instructions. Let's now have a look at the 2 tasks that go with this assignment. Now, task 1, I'm going to skip through this one because I'd actually like you to start working on task 2 first, because that is where most of the marks are. And only when you've completed task 2 should you then come back and do task 1. So we'll come back to task 1 at the end of this little lesson. I'd like you to start by task 2. And I would like you to do task 2 not on the first page of your jotter. And I'd like you to write at the top of that page the word introduction. Okay, now you might want to pause just as you write that. I would suggest you make it in big bold letters and it's nice and clear, and you might even want to use a different colored pen to do so. You might even wish to underline it so you can clearly see that it is a heading. Now you will notice there are 3 bullet points here that you are going to have to deal with, and they involve writing 3 paragraphs. Now, any good project needs to start by telling the reader what it is the project is about. What are you investigating? Now, at this point, your teacher will have probably explained to you what the nature of the project is, but if you were missing this lesson and you're using this because you weren't in the class, just a quick reminder, this project is going to investigate how coastal towns, most specifically how St Andrews, which is the one we visited, is affected by tourism. And what we're particularly looking at is, what is it about coastal towns that attracts people, in this case St Andrews? So why do lots of people tend to go to towns that are on the coast? And what does that, or in what way does that affect the town itself? And you're going to want to write an opening paragraph that talks about both the fact that people visit coastal towns because coastal towns are attractive for a number of reasons, and that because they visit, it has a number of effects. And these effects can be a mixture of both positive and negative. And what you finally want to say is that this investigation will look at these effects to see whether it is benefiting or harming St Andrews from having all these visitors. Okay, you want to pause now and make sure you've written that opening paragraph, and only when you've done that do you want to unpause and follow my next instruction. Okay, I'm assuming you've written your opening paragraph about what the project is about. Your second paragraph is going to be based on a piece of research. And to do that, you need to watch the video. Now, before you watch this video here, which has a link, let's just think about what you should be thinking about when you're watching this video. You're going to be writing a paragraph that uses evidence from the video on why it is important for people to research tourism. So why are we even interested in knowing about tourism? We know what tourism is. It's where people go somewhere else and visit it on holiday or on a day trip. That is what tourism is, and a tourist is somebody visiting another place for pleasure. So it's not really that we're interested in, but we're interested in why it's important to research it. So clearly what this video is going to do is it's going to consider a range of problems that tourism can potentially create when lots of visitors go to a place. Now, this video doesn't look at St Andrews, it looks at tourism in general, but what you need to consider is to what extent what you're seeing in the video might be happening in St Andrews, okay? So you want to talk about the types of problems that tourism can create and explain why it is therefore important to visit somewhere to see if these problems are happening. Because if they are happening in St Andrews, then clearly we need to think about what we can do to solve any problems that might be happening. Right, pause the video now, watch this video link and complete this paragraph. Okay, now I'm assuming you've finished the first two paragraphs. In your final paragraph, you're going to want to watch this video and visit this web link. Now, before you do that, you're going to want to think about what is it I'm writing my paragraph on. Well, in this final paragraph, you're going to use evidence from the video and the website that talks about why has tourism increased in recent years. So why are there so many people traveling around the world? And why is that something that has only really appeared in the last 30 to 40 years on planet Earth? And you'll get information both from the video, but also from this website, which talks about the increase in tourism. And you want to write a paragraph about that. Okay, so you want to pause the video now, and there's one final task you want to do. So come back to the video after doing that third paragraph. Okay, just to finish off with today, let's have a look at the thing I told you to skip at the start of the lesson, task 1. Now, task 1 is something you're going to be printing off and sticking onto the front cover of your jotter. And what are you going to be printing off? Well, you're going to first of all need a Google Doc, and you'll find a Google Doc in this assignment, a blank document which you can use. And on it, you're going to want a title, a nice big bold title that can go on that front page. Now, there is a number of ways you can create a nice big bold title, but you can just do it by using a large font, or you can insert a drawing and go for a new drawing like this and create a large text design using the drawing function. So if I select title, for example, and typed in it, tourism, whatever title I want to use, but then I want to start playing around with that title, like I want to change the color, and I maybe of the background, I maybe want to add some more additions. So I want to change the color of the font to dark purple. Maybe I'll change that to light blue. I maybe want to bring the text into the middle. I want to make the text larger in size. You can see all the different things that you can play around with this. And then you just insert it, save and close, and that will come into your main document as your title. Okay, so if I just show you what that would look like, that is what you would get as a title if that was what you chose. Now you can do that, that's a fancy title, or you can just simply type your title straight into your blank document. Okay, in that blank document for task 1, you're also going to want to find one image to put into that document. Now, if I was wanting to insert an image, I would first of all go Insert, image, and I would probably just do it straight from search the web. And over here, it brings in an image Google thing. So I'm going to now want to find an image linked to tourism, and it might be to do with tourism impacts, or I might want to use the word effects, or I might just want to use the word tourism and see what it gives me. Now, you've got to spend some time looking through your images, because what is important here is that the image you choose to put into your document somehow is suggestive or reflective of what the project is about. So it's got to be something that shows the effects of tourism in coastal areas. So I might, for example, choose this image here, and I would have a reason. I'm not going to tell you why I've chosen it, because that would be kind of giving the game away, but it might be because I'm trying to show something about the effects that tourism causes areas. What I might then want to do is just shrink it down in size so it fits on my page, because I want everything to be on one page. So I'd have my title, I'd have my image. I'm just going to delete that now. And the final thing is below my title, or I want to also make sure I've got my name, my class, and the year 2021. So those are the 3 key tasks that you're going to want to complete for the task 1. Make sure that is then printed off using the instructions up here and stuck down on the front page of your Jotter. If you've completed all of that, what you can do, if you've still got time in class, you can write some additional work or extend your paragraphs for these 2 paragraphs here, the second and third paragraph, especially this final paragraph. There's lots of information that you might have not included about the kind of effects that tourism can have, and also why tourism is increasing. So you might want to do some additional research and just extend that. Okay, good luck with these first 2 tasks.